Attention soldier, I'm Ghost Stefana, and you join me here for a recap of the 2022 game Modern Warfare 2. In this video, I'll explain the plot of the game for those who haven't played it, or can't remember, or just fancy a bit of a recap. A very quick plea at the start: if you do enjoy this video, then please do hit subscribe. It's a very simple thing to do on your behalf, but it really does mean the world to me. I'm just a guy who sits in my underpants playing video games and then talking about them. Modern Warfare 2 is a continuation of the 2019 reboot of the original series. That means that this game does contain several characters from the 2007 Modern Warfare series, but this is a reboot, so essentially it's a new story set in an alternative world. So essentially, discard anything you've learned about these characters from the original series. That said, it is the direct sequel to the 2019 Modern Warfare reboot. This story picks up from where that game ends, so it is helpful that you understand what happens in that game, as I won't be rehashing things from that game in this video. So if you don't know that story, I recommend you watch this video first. It really will help you understand the story. Okay, now we're all sufficiently confused about this rebooted series, let's begin. The game begins in Al Mazrah with our old friend Ghost, but don't forget this is a rebooted series, so you've never actually met Ghost before. Ghost is overseeing a tactical operation to kill an Iranian general known as Ghobrani. He heads up an organization of Russian-backed Iranians working with the terrorist group Al-Qatala, continuing the conflict from the previous game. On the orders of General Shepard, a ballistic missile is fired and Ghobrani is killed alongside several unnamed and unimportant soldiers. The game then flashes forward. From a conversation between Kate Laswell and General Shepard, we learn that despite the strike, Ghobrani's second-in-command, Hassan Zyani, has taken command and is planning something in Al Mazrah. The duo then call on the help of the famous Task Force 141, and we switch to Ghost and our old friend, who, don't forget, we've never met because this is a rebooted series, John Soap McTavish.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it is a little bit confusing, Ghost. Assisted by a group of US Marines, Ghost and Soap fail to find Hassan, who has already fled, but they do discover something else. Hassan is in possession of military-grade ballistic weapons, and to make matters even more confusing and intriguing, the missiles appear to be American.
07, this is Gold Eagle Actual. Repeat your last.
He said the missiles are American. Naturally disturbed by this news, Shepard and Laswell plan their next move. The general wants to destroy the missiles, but Laswell wants to try and find out how they acquired them. This leads her to Amsterdam, which she claims is a hub for weapons smuggling. And here I was thinking it was just a lovely place for a canal side spliff. Fortunately for Laswell, she has a friend already over there, possibly having a canal side spliff, I don't know. It's our old friends, Captain Price and Sergeant Kyle Gaz Garrick. But this is a reboot, so, oh no, actually wait, these two are okay because they were in the last game, so they're fine. Price and Gaz track down the smugglers, who appear to be Los Almas, a Mexican cartel group. After discovering a phone on one of the cartel members, who seemingly just leaves his phone unlocked like a normal person, the duo learn of a meeting taking place between the cartel and Al-Qatala. Price listens in on the meeting while Laswell and Gaz plan to apprehend one of the suspects. The captain then overhears that the cargo they're planning to smuggle next is a human and none other than Hassan Zyani himself. He's currently in Mexico, and the cartel are aiming to smuggle him into America. The trio manage to capture one of the bad guys and leave Amsterdam. We switch to the US-Mexico border and assume control of Alejandro.
Don't call my name, don't call my name, Alejandro.
A member of the Mexican Special Forces, and his partner, Rodolfo. On the orders of Laswell, they attempt to find Hassan before he can cross the border. However, they fail in this endeavor and witness Hassan climbing over the border wall. Continuing into the US, they track down Hassan. Rodolfo manages to find the Al-Qatala leader, but is shot and surrounded by other Al-Qatala fighters. Hassan then approaches him and says,
I'm a soldier, and I'm here to fight.
and I think,
Ooh, you're hard showing off.
They set the room alight and bid goodbye to our new friend Rodolfo before he becomes a well-done steak. However, Alejandro later comes and saves the day and Rodolfo lives. Sometime later, the Mexican Special Forces commander meets up with Ghost and Soap, who are under orders to apprehend Hassan, believing that he may be hiding back in Mexico and under the protection of the cartel. They arrive in Los Almas. The group begins a huge firefight with the cartel in the town, forcing our heroes to flee. In order to help their escape, Shepard calls in Shadow Company, a highly trained group of military officials who report directly to the general. They're led by Commander Philip Graves. With the air support of Shadow Company, Soap, Ghost, and Alejandro assault a cartel building and manage to locate Hassan. The group begin to question the Alcatala leader, but Laswell and Shepard claim that we have no legal grounds to hold him due to him being picked up in Mexico. With regret, we're forced to let him go, and Soap speaks for all of us.
It's right here. You can't be serious.
However, through Hassan's phone, we learn of a location in Spain which houses a Las Almas-owned fishing hatchery. In a mission reminiscent of the famous All Gillied Up mission from the original Modern Warfare series, Gaz and Price infiltrate the facility. While on mission, Laswell, who is providing recon on a boat offshore, is captured by Alcatala members. Gaz then says,
We need to get Laswell back.
and I think, yeah, that sounds like a pretty solid plan. However, Shepard disagrees. Fearing he would lose too many men, Shepard doesn't commit any troops to the mission, which forces Price to call upon some old friends. Farah, the leader of the Urzikstan rebels from the previous game, joins our fight and provides us with some forces. After one of the most frustrating and, to be honest, worst missions in the entire Call of Duty series, we successfully reclaim Laswell from Alcatala forces. Laswell then reveals that she has learned that the missiles were never in Spain, only the guidance systems were, and they received those advanced systems from the Russians. She suggests that the only lead they have on the missile's location is now the leader of the cartel, an unknown person known as El Sin Nombre. Switching to our other group, Graves, Soap, Ghost, and Alejandro
Don't call my name, don't call my name, Alejandro.
are scoping out a Los Almas mansion believed to be hosting an important cartel meeting. In the hope of finding El Sin Nombre in there, Soap volunteers to go inside, offering intel on the recent attack his group conducted in Las Almas. We are questioned in there by one of El Sin Nombre's sicarios, Valeria. She says if we provide her with the truth, she will allow us to meet El Sin Nombre. Soap can, choice dependent, offer up the correct information about the attack. After doing so, Valeria claims she'll speak to her boss before handing us into the custody of a nearby guard. Fortunately, said guard is Alejandro in disguise, which gives us time to roam the mansion and try and find El Sin Nombre. We later learn that Valeria, who interrogated us earlier, was not El Sin Nombre's sicario, but El Sin Nombre herself. We managed to capture the cartel leader, whom Alejandro seems to recognize. Either that, or he just likes to, stare at people really weirdly and intensely. In conversation afterwards, Alejandro reveals that Valeria used to serve in his own unit. The cartel leader does, however, give us the location of the missile, and the team head to an oil rig out at sea to find it. When there, they realize they do not have enough time to disarm the bomb and are forced to detonate it after launch. Despite the successful mission, when back at the Mexican Special Forces base, Graves claims he has now been given control of the operation and sends the rest of the team home, saying their services are no longer required. We then notice that Graves' subtitles name changes to red, indicating he is now seen as an enemy. Graves' Shadow Company then begin to fire upon the trio, with Alejandro being apprehended and Soap being shot. But just enjoy a few moments of Ghost being a badass. Soap, despite his injuries, manages to escape, and in one of the coolest missions in the series, Soap is then forced to try and evade Shadow Company and survive on the streets of Los Almas, forging weapons from items that he can find and scavenge, whilst also being helped by Ghost on the radio, who also survived. Eventually, the duo are reunited and escape the area together. They head to a safe house that Alejandro had mentioned. In there, they find Rodolfo. With Graves and Shepard seemingly gone rogue, the trio are unsure who they can trust, so they form a plan to rescue him. who Rodolfo claims is being held in a nearby prison. The mission is successful and we are reunited with our Mexican friend. However, when escaping the compound, the group are overwhelmed by Shadow Company forces. Fortunately, Captain Price and Gaz arrive to save the day. Finally, we get to see the full Task Force 141 together. Also, Price reveals that Laswell has found out why Graves and Shepard have turned. In a flashback mission, we see Graves and his Shadow Company transporting ballistic missiles under Shepard's orders to American allies in the Middle East. The secret transaction, however, went wrong and the group were attacked and 3 missiles were stolen by Russian nationalists. Those missions are the very same now in possession of Alcatala. Ashamed, Graves and Shepard plotted to cover up the mission. With Laswell and Task Force 141 getting close to tracking the missiles down, they turned on our heroes. Price and Shepard talk via video link and Shepard defends his actions, claiming to do good, you have to sometimes do bad. Eagle-eyed gamers will also again notice that Shepard's name now turns red. Price then says,
I'm coming for you.
Ooh, you're hard showing off.
Deciding to operate under the name Ghost Team, the group all don ghost masks like our very own Simon Ghost Riley. The group then lay siege to the Mexican forces base. In an epic fight, Soap is forced to fight Graves, who is rather unfairly in a tank. After a while, Soap is successful and blows up the tank and subsequently Graves. The group then find the captive Valeria, who reveals the final missile is in Chicago. Naturally, the group set off there, but first, Price makes a promise that I think we'll see in the next game of this series.
She's yours. But we'll be back.
I look forward to it.
Ooh.
In Chicago, the group tracks down a tower building believed to be the missile location and that of Hassan. Whilst infiltrating the building, the missile is launched, leaving Laswell to desperately work out the target location and how they can stop it before it gets there. Gaz finds Hassan and manages to steal the missile controls. While evading his pursuers, Gaz has to try and detonate the bomb while it's traveling before reaching the target, which we learn by now is Washington, D.C. With the radio help of Laswell, he is successful and the missile is detonated, leaving no casualties and just a severe blackout. Moments later, Hassan arrives and shoots Gaz. With one of our heroes seemingly ready to meet his maker, Ghost arrives just in time and kills Hassan. With the missile threat gone and Hassan dead, the group enjoy a drink in a bar. However, as she so often does in these games, Laswell delivers some disturbing news, which will no doubt set up the plot for the next game.
They're working with someone new.
After showing Price the photo, it appears that this person is no stranger to Task Force 141, and all the members have a look at the photo for dramatic effect. And yes, Ghost even wears his mask in the pub. Price then reveals the new antagonist's name.
Makarov.
And we all think, wow, I've never heard that name before. It definitely wasn't one of the main baddies in the original series. In a post-credit scene, we see a terrorist cell preparing to attack a plane before being told by Makarov via text to not speak Russian, suggesting the assault will likely be pinned on Alcatala or somebody else. Thank you for watching this story review. If you liked it, then please do hit subscribe for more in the future. Thank you.